Hey, this is Natalie with the Fifth Journey, and I'm going to be using one of the new fragrance oils from Brambleberry. This is the cinnamon cocoa, so this will be really good for winter time. And it does have, obviously, that cinnamon scent, but also has kind of a breakfasty coffee scent to it. So I'm going to be doing a cinnamon roll look, and I'm going to be using my cylinder molds, my column cylinder molds, and I have some Low Sweat Detergent Free Glycerin Soaps that I went ahead and poured into a tray and then cut it into shape and then rolled them out. So I have these two, and this is actually enough soap, or enough batter, excuse me, to make two different 3-pound soaps, 2.5 to 3 pound soaps. So I'm going to do restock with the other half. And I'm using my leaf lard recipe, so it is slow moving, although this one says it behaves well. I'm going to be doing another soap after this as a restock. So anyway, I want to do kind of 3 different colors. This is supposed to discolor to brown, so I'm going to make the batter, separate it out, and then I'll put some in here. I have some titanium dioxide in there, and then I have some coffee grounds here, and these are not pre-dried or pre-used coffee grounds, so it will bleed a little bit, and that's fine. So I'm going to pour a little bit into those two, and then I'll put the fragrance in, and then I'll pour those back into here to do kind of an in the pot, and then I'll pour it in. Now I have these 2 molds set up. I'm not sure if it will fill up both of them, if I'll have extra or not, so I went ahead and prepared them just in case. The other colors, I'm not going to be using those, so just ignore that. So I'll fast forward it, and then we'll do the pour, and it'll probably be a little bit because these are kind of harder to get out, and I'll have to pop them into the freezer. So I will go ahead and get going and fast forward through all of this. I have both of those poured. I'm going to go ahead and cover them and let them come to gel phase, and then we'll come back when it is time to cut. And I'm going to go ahead and make the dragon's blood, since I'm already videotaping, might as well videotape it. So the dragon's blood, this is actually a restock, and I'm going to be doing activated charcoal, and then I have some red Moroccan clay and some turmeric, and then the activated charcoal that I'll put some hanger swirls in. So let me get that started, and let me clean up, and then I'll get that started. So I'll go ahead and put that on this video as well. You can see that we're done. Dragon's blood is very dark and mysterious. So very deep colors. The turmeric, it looks awfully dark, but that will lighten up quite a bit. But I want this to be a very dark soap to kind of match the fragrance. So we will come back when it's time to cut everything and go from there. We're back. It's the next morning, and I'm actually going to go ahead and cut these now. You can see I went ahead and did this one. If you can see this one, it obviously looks like a big mess on the outside. So when I had moved these, let me backtrack. Actually, the last time I used these, when I did more of a fluid batter, it had gone around the seams, and this is kind of what it did this time, if you can see that. And I knew it would stick, so I thought, well, I'll try to separate out a little bit sooner versus having to stick the whole thing in the freezer and then trying to get it out that way. So there's definitely a happy medium on thickness of your batter, so you don't want to pour too fluid, and because otherwise it'll just seep around that crack. So you want to actually pour a little bit thicker if you can, or if you know of another way, definitely do that. But you can see it's stuck to the side because once I took that out, the sides popped off. But you know what, it'll be fine. You can see on this one the color has changed. You can see the swirls. I've got a little bit of soda ash, but that's okay, not hurt anything. But you can see the lines of the different colors of soaps. And I went ahead and cut that one. We've got a nice swirl in there, and you can see the, excuse me, you see the other lines in there, and that will continue to change as it cures. So go ahead and cut these. There we have it, and actually the sides really kind of go with the cinnamon roll look, which is fine. And this one was the top part, so you can already see the discoloration happening. So these will discolor. So I'm going to go ahead and smooth out the edges, put them on the curing racks, and we'll come back when it's time for a final look. I'm back to do the cut of the restock for the dragon's blood, and I went ahead and cut the ends off so we can see that really quick. The turmeric will lighten up, and as you can see here, I do have some soda ash on there, which is fine. It's not harmful. It didn't go throughout, so it's just on top. So it kind of gives it a little bit of an interesting texture, and I can steam that off later. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the sides really quick and cut it, and we'll look to see what the bars look like. There you have it. So it is dark because it's the dragon's blood. I used the turmeric, the activated charcoal, and then the red Moroccan, excuse me, the Aussie red clay, not the red Moroccan clay. This is the Aussie red clay. And the turmeric will lighten up as it cures, but it'll still, you know, as a whole remain fairly dark looking. So I'm happy with how these turned out. I'm going to go ahead, trim up the sides, stamp them, and then we'll come back for a final look.